Hey everyone, my name is Tristan and welcome to my small workshop in my basement. Today I'm going to show you how I made Astrid's axe from How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 3. So let's not waste any time and get right into the build. The first thing I do is make a drawing of the axe with the right measurements so I don't mess anything up later. There are the measurements of the axe. Now using two pieces of paper stuck together, I make the template for the axe head. To make both sides symmetrical, I flip the template before cutting into it. Now it's time to start making the axe head. For that I'm going to be using 2-inch thick insulation foam. I'm gonna pin down my template to it and then trace it out. After that I flip the template and repeat the process so that the axe head is all in one piece. I start by rough cutting around the axe head using a sharp X-Acto knife. And then I start removing small chunks of material to get closer and closer to the line of the template. For the center pieces of the axe I used a drywall saw. It makes less clean cuts than an X-Acto knife, but it's easier to use. Then to remove the last part of material you can use sandpaper, but I'm just going to use my belt sander. To sand the center parts of the axe head, I wrap the piece of sandpaper around a small PVC pipe. Next I make many dots all 1 inch from the edge of the blade of the axe head. After that I just connect the dots. Those lines are here to help me figure out where to cut to make the blade of the axe. When you cut into insulation foam like this, make sure you use a very sharp X-Acto knife. Of course, I sanded the blade using sandpaper to make it smoother. Now it's time to drill a hole into the axe head for the bamboo stick to go through. Now I just fit the bamboo stick into the axe head. Trace where to cut it. And then cut it out using a hacksaw. Now it's time to make the raised panel on the axe head. I'm gonna use my original template to make the new pattern for those raised details. When that's done, I just transfer those templates to foam. And then I use a sharp X-Acto knife to cut them out. To glue the edges of the pieces together, I use contact cement. The way contact cement works is you apply some on both the edges you want to stick together, then you let it dry for a couple of minutes and then just stick them together. To glue the EVA foam to the insulation foam, I'm going to use hot glue. Just make sure your hot glue gun is at a lower temperature setting to not melt the insulation foam. But before gluing the two pieces together, I'm going to use a weird technique with the hot glue gun to make fake rivets on the EVA foam. If you want to use this technique, make sure you practice on some scrap pieces of foam because it's really hard. Now it's time to stick all the pieces together. I made a small round piece out of insulation foam which I'm gonna stick at the top of the axe head. Before sealing the axe head with Plastidip, I'm gonna cover it with acrylic paints 2 times to make sure the Plastidip doesn't melt the insulation foam. What I'm using to seal the axe head is called peel coat. It's the same thing as Plastidip, it's just a lot cheaper. Now it's time to cover my mistakes using modeling paste. It's now time to make the handle of the axe, and to wrap the bamboo stick I'm gonna use EVA foam. So I just measure how much foam I'm gonna need and then cut it out. After that I heat it into shape using a heat gun. And to make a foam tube I'm gonna use contact cement to glue the 2 edges together. This is really hard to do, and to make sure the pieces don't unstick you can add duct tape to them. Now that the foam tube is made, I'm gonna pour Gorilla Glue all over the bamboo stick and then just slide the tube over the stick. To make the double-sided bird skull at the bottom of the handle, I'm gonna use more EVA foam. First I just trace the right shape on foam, and then I cut it out 3 times to build up the thickness. Then I trace out the shape of the beak and cut it out 2 times. After that I use hot glue to stick the 3 round pieces together. Then using an X-Acto knife I cut holes on both sides of the round piece to make space for the beak. After that I trim and heat up the 2 beaks to make them rounder. And I also cut a groove in the middle of them. Then to clean up my big round piece, I'm gonna use my Dremel. Then using contact cement, I'm gonna glue the 2 beaks to the skull piece. And the last step is to push into the foam with a dismantled pen to make the round eyes. And there is the double-sided bird skull. Now using hot glue, I'm gonna glue it to the tip of the handle. Now I'm gonna seal the entire handle using peel coat. Back to the axe head, I'm gonna paint it using a gunmetal color. I decided to apply 2 coats. Then I'm going to use black acrylic paint mixed with water to weather the axe head. Then I cut a whole lot of small strips of EVA foam to make the leather strips that go around the axe head. Half of them are pink and half of them are blue, so I'm gonna paint them accordingly. Then using super glue, I'm gonna stick them together to make them longer. And still using super glue, I'm gonna glue them down to the axe head. And now the axe head is all finished. To make the long leather strips that go all around the handle, I'm going to use a big piece of vinyl I have. So I just cut out 2 long strips. I made a leather color using a mix of various colors of acrylic paint. And I applied 2 coats of paint over the vinyl strips. Then to paint all over the axe handle, I'm using a much darker brown color. I only had to apply 1 coat. And then for the bird skull, I'm gonna use more gunmetal. And I applied 2 coats. Now it's time to wrap the vinyl strips around the axe handle. The best and easiest way to do this is using hot glue. And now both pieces of the axe are finished. To glue them together, I use a whole bunch of hot glue. And we are done. So this is the final result. I think that for it being my first time working with insulation foam, it turned out pretty good. So this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you can leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.